It's a habit I can't break. Or can I? We're looking at that, how to break habits and your destructive self right now. One of the things in the research by Robbins and Costa has been that the difficulty with breaking habits in the first place and seeing your self-destruction is that everybody has a different definition of what a habit is. But how can we use what we know generally about habits to stop us from self-destructing? One is to self-reflect and have more awareness. Start by reflecting on your thoughts, your behaviours and patterns, because we all have them, right? Obviously we have thoughts. We have thousands of thoughts every day. We don't, by the way, have to pay attention to all of them. This creates behaviour, and then there's patterns. People can see these little patterns. They know that a good friend could say one little thing and that's a trigger, and so suddenly we're going down that path, our thought pattern, and one thing leads to another, and they can kind of set us up. We can do the same thing for others. But if you're self-reflecting on this, you can see that trigger, you can step away from it, and you know, hey, I'm very weak on that. I wish I was not that weak, but I'm weak in that area. I know it seems obvious, you can become extremely self-aware of it, but you need to pull back, otherwise you'll go down that alley like a long, fast train, and you can't stop yourself. It's just too attractive. The pattern is well worn. The path is grooved and ingrained there on the sod. So you need to pull back, see the trigger, recognize it. And I mentioned friendship. Those around you can be ones that help you from self-destructing. If you tell them, if you have a laugh even about their personal triggers and your personal triggers too. By doing that, you're helping yourself by allowing others, and you're also helping them as well. So it's a good thing. Secondly, identify specific habits to change. Hey, look, my weakness is this, friend. Can't you see it? Give me a ring, give me a call, give me a text, whatever, with regard to when this trigger is hit, because you know there's only a certain amount of time. So if I have those habits to change, what have you? You're opening this friendship, you're opening the loop, you're continuing to improve for you, for them. And if there's specific, very specific habits to change, once you get into the nitty-gritty, you can identify those, and the behavior then will change around it, so you can improve and focus on one at a time. Why? Because you want to stop this feeling of overwhelm. You already know that you're the center of attention in your world, and you need work. And so you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself while you're doing it as well. You need to also understand the root causes, like cognitively. When you sit down with friends, when you self-analyze and become aware of things, you need to be able to just calm, rather than actually it being a moment of being triggered. You need to be able to just go, maybe on a sheet of paper with a pencil or pen, draw it out or write it down, where you go, look, the root cause is because in the past this happened to me, and now I have these little behaviors, right? Just accept it. It mightn't be that there's a link between what happened in that root cause specifically towards your behaviors. They might be completely irrelevant, and you don't even need to self-analyze that. But if you've suffered a trauma, if you suffered something really big or a pressurized situation, and again, you don't have to say that to your friend. You might say, I wonder why I do this. I always wonder. Behind it all, you might know, they might know, you might even talk about it, and that's okay. Rather than reintroducing that trauma, there's no point. It might be embarrassment or shame from that, that's okay. But if you understand that root cause, you can explore the underlying reasons, beliefs, and the drive that's pushing that habitual self-destructive button as such. Another one is to very carefully challenge your limiting beliefs, often with cultural references or religious beliefs, or even beliefs about your gender, your sexuality. We might think, hey, because I'm this age, because I'm this colour, because I'm from here, this is what I need to do. Why? Because everybody in my age group gets married. Everybody from my culture does this at a certain time of life and I'm now at that, and so on. But rather than that, you are an individual. You are unique. We're trying to get to the triggers that limit your abilities. If you have the ability, therefore, you should be pushing yourself down that track. It can often be that someone in your age group, your culture, your gender, whatever, is limiting themselves. And we're all limiting ourselves. In fact, we are truly all limiting ourselves in many ways. So challenge your limiting beliefs. You've one go at the merry-go-round. So challenge and reframe your negative or self-limiting habits and reinforce what you know you can do in a very positive way. In doing that, then, of course, you will achieve and you'll feel better and you're growing. And in doing that as well, another thing you need to do is set very clear goals. Now, I've mentioned the word specificity. No, I haven't, because that's a new word. If I mentioned the correct word, that would be more specific. There is where we're at. If you're specific, though, and clear with your goals, you're allowing yourself to see a path which is attainable, which you can measure, which you have strengths towards. Then you can be able to break into those aforementioned negative patterns, those triggers, those self-limiting beliefs. Make your goals very relevant as well and time-bound so that you can increase accountability and track your progress over time. By then replacing negative habits with positive alternatives, you're allowing to identify positive habits and actions or even activities that can replace your negative habits. So choose behaviours that will be linked in with what truly you value in life. And these support your long-term goals. That way, it's not like career on one path and one objective, and then life goes on the other. Rather, the two of them merge. It's much simpler. You're doing things at one time in a 24-hour period where we all feel we lack time. You're doing two things at once at the same time and feeling great about it because it's chipping away at two lists, one a career list and two a life list. So if you can align as closely as possible with your true intimate values, you're going to be able to help yourself in the short and longer term. The next thing then is creating supportive environment. You want people that want to see you grow around you, rather than having people that are pulling you back all of the time, negative. A lot of that stuff is on them. It's not something that you need to worry about because that's their own negativity. Sure, there might be familiar people in your family or maybe friends that you have to be around for a certain amount of time. There might be an economic link with that. But just because you got to be around them, for example, with birthdays or Christmas or things like that, it doesn't mean to say you can't put them on a timer and go, right, I need to spend the majority of this day with somebody else or even on my own because I need to reframe all of this negativity because it's from the past, and now I need to create a supportive environment for myself so that positive change is possible. If you're around the wrong people, you won't have that all of the time. Rather, you'll be pulled back in the longer term as well. Practice mindfulness, self-compassion. I mentioned that if you went away on a big day like a birthday or Christmas, you have to get a supercharge of the time that's alone with yourself. So change your brain waves, meditate, go and do deep breathing, journaling, increase your self-awareness and presence in the moments that you have alone. I remember 2020, I was alone on Christmas Day and I did such positive things, supercharged me throughout that winter, and it was a real great personal time for me. So if you have that self-compassion, use it for yourself to develop in the long run as well. Break the habit loop. We're often going, hey, habits, but if we know and recognize that we have triggers, it's going to happen again. We know that it's almost like a fear that it's going to happen again, but if you can break that loop, and if required, do go and seek professional help. It's worth it. You are gold in the long run. you will thank me, maybe. You'll certainly thank yourself. If you want to thank me, you can hit the subscribe button. If not, though, please do. Have a wonderful day.